Peace, Vandals and Vandalettes. It's the God Mathematics, and you're now watching the infamous Vandal Hour Season 9 live on S.STREET Media. Make sure you check us out every week on our S.STREET Media YouTube channel. And you can also follow us on Instagram and on Facebook at the Vandal Hour. Shout out to everyone that's been running our numbers up. Our shit is looking stupid. Shout out to all of our supporters across the globe. We had 20.1 thousand followers on Instagram. If you don't know, the Vandal Hour has a dope underground following. If you know, this is 9 years that we've been doing this. This is crazy, man. It's 9 years rocking out, doing what we do, and that's interview some of the illest graph writers in the game, talking to some of the dopest hip-hop voices that's doing what they do. We even talk to DJs, dancers, and everything, man. So check out the Vandal Hour. Google us if you don't know. So, that's how it's going. Yo, what up, Mr. 13? How you feeling tonight?
I'm doing good, man. I'm excited to be back on the platform.
You heard? We are back like cook crack. What you been up to, man?
I've been working on the Made for Kings TV segments, doing those interviews out in the streets, covering some street graph, all that stuff. You can check that out on the YouTube page, man.
How's the Made for Kings joint been going? You got interviews to sit down with Mr. 13. You got the joint where you be following graph throughout the city. Talk to the peoples about it, man. They haven't seen you in fucking about 8 months.
It's been a minute. So I got to sit down with Mr. 13. Then I have the conversation with Legacy Star. We're gonna be starting a new show with Diz the Icon coming soon. Then I got the scene in the streets where I go to different neighborhoods throughout the city and film the graph on the walls so that they can see what's really going on in the streets and who's really putting in that work. Not that Instagram shit. That real shit in the streets.
Yeah, man. I follow your page, man. You interviewed a lot of dope individuals, man. If you're not following Mr. 13, make sure you tap in. But just to let you know, we got a dope show planned for y'all. We had to kick Season 9 off with the bang. Ain't no half-stepping, as Kane would say. Tonight, we have a Brooklyn/Queens writer who's been putting in a lot of pain in them streets. Tags, fills, pieces, exotic lettering, coloring, and he goes by the name of /FTR. And we'll be kicking with him tonight, man. We also got a Bushwick native, the mayor of Bushwick. I was checked today about saying that. I said Bushwick. They told me, nah, bro. It's Bushwick. It's something different. Tap the fuck in, you heard? A super MC, he goes by the name of Xav Sosa. He's in the building, and we'll be chopping up with him about his music, the Soul Rises movement, and shit like that. We got some of his peoples in the building with us also. We got art dealers in here. We got fucking curators. If you don't know about the Vandal Hour, we are the home base for everything that's creative and everything that's fucking fly, because we don't fuck with corny shit, man. But we also, tonight we have a special guest co-host in the building. He is my brother. He is a part of S.STREET Media. He's a part of the S.STREET Media tribe. Yeah, I'm reading shit because I haven't did this shit in like 8 months. So he's a dope podcaster. He's a dope media personality. He's a dope MC. And he goes by the name of Worldarama. You heard? He just finished taping a new episode of Grind Hard TV. For the people who may not know about that, yo, can you tell us a little bit about your podcast and what you're doing?
Well, Grind Hard TV podcast, we all about the hip hop culture lifestyle. Groundhog TV is basically a hip-hop culture variety show. And I bring artists on, and we talk about what they got going on. Like the show that we just recorded today, we had Daylight there. He's an R&B slash hip-hop artist, and he has an R&B experience coming up on November 4th on a Saturday from 7 to midnight or 7 to 10. And we're going to have, I'm going to be the only hip-hop like MC there performing at that joint. It's a real intimate event. So pull up, people. Tickets out there and all that. You already know. 178 Atlantic Avenue, November 4th from 7 to 10.
You heard the brother, man. Let me just say, man, he's like James Brown, because like he's like the hardest man working in this motherfucking game. He's been to the BET Awards. He's been to AC3. He's been everywhere, man. Shout out to Tuesday is your PR.
Tuesday, yeah.
Yeah, she fucking got you everywhere, man.
Yeah.
She got you everywhere, man.
It'd be so much stuff she be telling me to go to, but I got so much shit I'm doing, I can't really be at everything, you know what I'm saying?
Understood.
I try to be at the most important stuff. But you never know which ones are the most important stuff because you don't know who you're going to meet when you go to any one of these events because they're official events.
Out of the last events you've been going to in these past couple of months, which one stood out the most to you?
Well, she's actually been plugging me into a lot of stuff. I just came back from Revolt World. That's Diddy's Revolt TV. They got their own festival, and they have it every year. I never knew about it, but she put me onto that. She got me in the BET Awards, watching the show, networking and everything like that. You know what I mean? She's got me in a lot of different things, and you know what I mean? I appreciate her. You know what I mean?
Yo, shout out to Tuesday, man. Right. And we got, here at the Vandal Hour, we got to shout out all the past Vandal Hour guards and goddesses that helped construct this platform from day one. Shout out to the 1718 Collective. Shout out to Sosa, Facts on Wax, the legend, Dre Kill Films, E. Sinatra, a.k.a. the Puerto Rican Water, Cronkite, Paris, The Brat, Giggles, J-Lo, Mathematics, not me, Greasy Amen, AC2, the Bring That Back Dude, my Wansburg brother, DJ Swift, Cover COD, and if I forgot anybody, my bad.
Get Fed.
Yeah, Get Fed record. No, that's not the Vandal Hour
okay.
Guards. Nah. Vandal Hour Guards is a specific group of individuals.
That's into arts.
He's one, but he's here. He's here. It's been like, this is for the people who watch the Vandal Hour, we're like Saturday Night Live.
Mm-hmm.
Our ensemble of cast changes like Menudo.
Right.
You know what I mean? Once you've been here for a certain amount of time, you start popping, shit start going on, life got you going another way, and so we got to bring somebody else to fill that person in. You know what I mean? I was the person who just wrote this shit and executive produced it to the point that I'm here now. You know what I mean? So we done had a lot of anchors. The Guard is definitely one of our main anchors. Facts on Wax, the most notorious of all the anchors. And E. Sinatra would be considered like the good guy. He's the Mr. Rogers of our platform. People love him. He was adored. He's like that dude. He's doing what I'm doing or trying to do, but he did it effortlessly. I probably fucked that word up.
No, you said it right. Effortlessly.
All right. He did it smoothly. It was like nothing to him. So like for me, I'm here sweating bullets. It may not be out like where you could see it, but in my head, it's pouring. It's like the Niagara Fall or something.
So all of these guys that you mentioned, they're all graffiti artists that have pieces up around the city that people can see.
The people who we interview, no. Okay. Some people have been writers. Some people have been just media personalities. Some people just people who just was good at doing this, just podcasters. So we had a slew of different people sit at the table and run the show. As I said, Chris is one of the mainstays. Facts on Wax and E. Sinatra is probably the most notable. J-Lo also did his thing when he was here. You know, a couple of different
And the guests that we have here today.
Yeah, so the guests that we have here, for the people that might not be this is crazy. We really have like people who watch the Vandal Hour, is really like segments to this shit. So this is one of our more notable segments for the people that might not be familiar with this part of the show, but this is when we get into this week in the Vandal Hour news. No, I cannot do that like Facts and Wax used to do it, but that was my own rendition, you know, of that line.
Right.
For the people that that might not know, this is like where we talk about what's going on in the culture graph wise. This is not the regular news where, you know, we're going to talk about what's going on TV. Nah, this is what's going on in our culture. We highlight.
World.
Yes. So recently, a graffiti legend, a wild style king, passed away. His tag was Tracy 168. Best known for fill-ins on trains, unique graph characters, a forefather of the wild style movement. Do you remember Tracy 168?
If I didn't remember him, I wouldn't be a graph writer.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Anything y'all want to say on Tracy?
I'll say this. He definitely was the father to some of my letters. If you know what I write, then you can tell which letters I probably ripped off of that man. And I'll definitely credit him for giving me those letters. Shout outs to Tracy, may he rest in peace.
That's a fact.
Rest in peace, Tracy.
Mr. FTR. I know you're also a historian. I know you're also a historian. Do you have any recollections or memories of Tracy 168?
So Tracy spanned probably 15 years before I started, but his iconic character, smiling face wild style character, was certainly something that was recognizable from the beginning. And that's 30 years ago. So I think he's been involved in 40 years of graph, and he stayed close to it, still active at shows and some other events as well. Certainly a forefather. I mean, people before his time just wrote their name on a train as an act of civil disobedience, but he, Blade, and Comet decided to do it with some flair, and they were some of the originals.
I definitely agree with the way you put that. That's a fact. He's definitely not a first generation person. He's definitely behind that. But what he was doing was definitely more to what is going on now. When you look at, outside of let's say a Stay High 149, right? They was thin cap tags, throw some extra stuff around the bubbles, the clouds. But then, and that generation was pretty much that. The staffs, the Taki 183s, the Charm 65s, they was mostly in that realm. But that next generation pretty much becomes known for what we know graph as now, even if it was on trains. But a lot of those styles is definitely birthed during those times.
I agree, man. He had the block letters. Those shits were fire. He had some dope panels, windows down. Yeah, man. I remember I met Tracy in the Bronx one time. It was an honor to meet him. He was actually doing that character that he mentioned. Yeah. The one with the smiley face and the ski goggle.
True indeed.
Legendary, man.
You know what's crazy about Tracy, too? Because a lot of... he also represents something else. And from the conversation that I've heard about him, he was definitely gangster too. Yeah. And I never met him, but the people who speaks on him definitely said that he was definitely more on a violent side, is what I've heard, and from different individuals. Not every graph writer possesses that. That's not a quality. Some might say that that's not a necessity quality that's needed in graph. You have some graph writers that are squares and like.
Yeah, but you got to have some kind of courage to be able to jump on the train tracks and go in the tunnel. Because sometimes I'll be riding a train and I'll see dudes' tags like dead in the middle of the tunnel somewhere. And you'll see like some lighter flash through and you'll see a nice tag up in the tunnel, like far in the tunnel. So a dude have to have some kind of balls to want to go all the way in the middle of the tunnel to put up a piece just for people to get a glimpse of it or other graph artists to see it. Because the only other people that's going to see it.
You're right. But when we talk about violence, every writer don't possess the violent gene.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, a lot of artists, like graph artists, or artists, period, are known to be very passive kind of guys and not really into the extra.
And then there's certain ones in our culture that exudes the gangster side. Like, you know, people who passed away that had that reputation. You had an ASP.
Yeah, ASP was
WTO was a person who was known for to get up and to whip a nigga ass and might cut you.
Rest in peace, Johnny.
Rest in peace to the guard. You had another person known to get busy in that realm also. Uptown dude, what's my man with a number on his thing? Oh, shit.
Spawn?
No, that's not who I was thinking about. My man, T-Kid.
Oh, yeah.
T-Kid had Terrible T-Kid had a reputation for gangsterism. Also in the world of graph. Another one also of TK. Also had a reputation of gangsterism. There was a few people, man. There's a few like that had that reputation.
Yeah, there's a few that you didn't want to come across in the tracks or in the yards and shit.
Cap.
I remember seeing
I think
that.
he exudes it.
I remember seeing that tag around a lot. You know what I'm saying?
When you know, I think when you think about the commercialization of graph and one of the figures that they put out with that kind of image was Cap.
Yeah, he was the bad boy.
He was and know what's funny, a lot of people that I know like from that time, like I guess he was a little bit older than like a lot of dudes, so he was just running down on dudes like they're like, no, he got the shotgun. I heard that there was an event, and that when the event was going on, like they was all there, and when they heard that he was walking towards the event, that everybody left the event.
Yeah, he was real reckless.
Oh, PJ was like that too. He shot PG.
Oh, another infamous person too. Yes, that's a good one. PJ's story is crazy too, man. Another known gangster. Like so, but then you got people who just positive.
What about the Sane Smith? I used to see they tags up a lot back in the days. That was, I remember.
Rest in peace, Sane.
Well, it was Sane and Smith. It was, I always seen them parts together.
Yeah, like they were more on the passive side, but
no, I got you.
Expressing a lot of political and social injustices. That was more their message, especially Sane. The piece he had off the Williamsburg Bridge about AIDS and the crack.
Sane with the heaven spots, man.
Yeah, so we don't want to get stuck on that. Also, we still on the Vandal Hour news. I mean, still in this week in the Vandal Hour news. Also, tap in with Scrapyard. If you don't know what Scrapyard is, they're a graph store located in Lower Manhattan. They sell cans, caps, and clothes there. They support us. They on Instagram at Scrapyard NYC. Make sure you tap in with them. And also, in the Vandal Hour news, last but not least, a few weeks ago, we lost our comrade and friend, Nep TCH. One of my childhood friends, that's a person I knew personally since I was about 10 years old. Just a sidebar, one of his tags before Nep was Snoopy. Facts. Quote that. You could quote that. You could quote that. That's my man, John, a.k.a. John. I knew him for a very long time. Rest in peace to the guard. He was, I want to say, a tag master for a long time.
Oh yeah, steady.
Yeah, he's in the DNA of Brooklyn. It's like there's no place in Brooklyn that you might not coincidentally bump into a Nep
Nah, Nep
TCH
was
tag.
notorious too, man. He had his name, man, and his respect.
True in the and such a many in a different way. Yeah. John was the man. Shout out to John, man. If you know, you know. John was he was a good dude. Let me say that too. He was a good dude. He wasn't one of them. He was reckless at times when we was younger, but at the older Nep was definitely laid back, a cool dude, man. So, you know, rest in peace to Nep.
Yo, I like to shout you out too, man, for definitely having a show like this that definitely bigs up one of the major elements of hip hop. Because for people that is fully aware, you know, that it's now like 10 different elements of hip hop because we control everything now, the culture. But the 4 main elements of hip hop, one of them definitely from the very beginning was graffiti art. So when niggas used to see the trains all crazy back in the days and pieces all up, that was a major part of the birth and growth of hip hop culture. So shout out to you for like keeping that alive. You know what I mean?
I appreciate it, and I have a theory on Graph. Even though they attach it to the hip hop culture, I have a theory on Graph, and I'm gonna say Graph supersedes the other elements. I think we're one of the. I think we're the first element, and the reason why I say that is you had dudes writing it.
Before hip hop was really big.
Sure.
You know what it is too? There's a lot of writers that don't even listen to hip hop. They listen to other genres of music.
So when I first started painting with 2 Ill, he brought Is the Wiz around. They were more blasting Sabbath and Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, I've been painting with a few guys from the LOC crew that when I paint with them, that's what they blasting.
Yeah.
It's different.
That's a fact, and I'm a fan of that music also. I'm a fan, but this, you know, our first generation is not. It comes before '74. They put hip hop at 74.
Well, when hip hop started really rising and people was seeing like how it was coming from the slums of New York City, the trains were already tagged up. Crazy. Yeah. So it couldn't have just started when rap started coming up. It was already graph artists already going crazy on the city and tagging the trains like crazy.
Late 60s is our first generation. Our first official like generation, because there's people who wrote before that, but our first official first generation is the late 60s.
Shout out my boy Louis Gasparo, because when I first started Groundhog TV 20 years ago, he was like always putting me on about who he was and how much he was doing it years prior to when we was talking about this. And this was 20 years ago he was talking about this. He goes by KR1. Shout out Louis Gasparo.
Yeah. I know who KR1
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's my guy.
Now, this weekend, Vandal's flexing. I've been seeing a lot of writers doing that thing. You know, I like to shout out these everybody that's out there still keeping the culture very much alive. The people on the front lines hitting the walls, the bombers, they are the people that keeps the culture pure. They are the ones who put their life, their motherfucking freedom on the line to push the culture forward. So right now, I'm not gonna lie to you, and you can add on anybody you want, but these people who I've been seeing like right now, Wombat. Whoever Wombat is, I like what you're doing, man. I like what you're doing. I like I'm not gonna call it hipster graph like
they call it anti-style. I call it hipster graph, but apparently I've been corrected. It's anti-style.
It's anti-style.
Yeah.
That's so. I would think that would be like the neck faces and stuff like that.
Neck faces, the ICBM crew.
Okay, that's dope. Force, you know, is putting in a lot of work also. Nost, N-O-S-T. You ever see that?
I've seen that.
I see that a lot heavy in the Bronx, but I seen it throughout the boroughs also. Shout out to my man TD also, who hands down is still wrecking shit.
50 states.
Yes. Shout out to Tech, the new Tech, and when I say about the new Tech, because the other Tech passed away, but his son, is rocking. So shout out to the new tech putting in work. He's doing the Bronx dirty. He's doing everything, man. Shout out to ZD PTP. He's rocking out. He's doing what it do. Cry. There's also another person who I've been seeing a lot. Anybody else been seeing some shit?
I seen, I think it's Goog, Goog.
Yup.
He does some huge fucking villains, blockbusters, right in the middle of the street. I gotta give it to Optimo, aka Words. He's been putting that character up everywhere. There's a few names. Those are two names that I've been recognizing a lot lately.
What about you, Mr. FTR?
Well, Dessa keeps going at it.
That's a fact.
Desecration. Miss 17. She's going wild. It is amazing. I was looking at the TD canvas, and he's a contemporary. And when he was doing stuff, he's still going at it.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Yeah.
Yo, whatever happened to that guy who used to always put up the tag like a foot? It was like a foot.
He passed away.
There's two of them. There used to be Mirage.
Oh yeah, the Mirage. We definitely spoke about Mirage. We used to do a lot of highways from what I've heard. Yeah. Mirage used to put it in too. And speaking of that type of style, somebody put up an old Roach joint with the roach and shit like that. Man, I love that style, but the character-driven style. I'm a fan of those.
Yeah, you mentioned the old Roach, but the new Roach has been getting it in too.
Yes, shout out to the new Roach. Also, he bombs a Mega. T2B, that's the People's too. Shout out to Mega. Also been on the Vandal Hour. Check out the Mega episode on the Vandal Hour. Definitely a deep joint. But let's get into the /FTR interview, man. You know, I've been seeing Slash work since the 90s, me personally, since the 90s. In my time, I definitely seen kind of your group of friends that was putting in work. The SNs, the Send, the Vend, Giz, yourself. We had Rise, FTR on here also. Odessa, Catch, my man. One of my close friends. Shout out to Catch. Outside of Graph, my good friend. You know, y'all had a movement going on. And y'all kind of attacked New York City. You made it into different videos. I believe y'all are in, is either, if it's not Videograph, it's ID's Forbidden Art that y'all in?
We did 4 videographs.
Woo!
And Forbidden Art, yeah. And then Out the Bomb.
Out the Bomb. Out the Bomb, which
right
is a
over
good
here.
one.
Yeah.
Which was a good one, man. I'm not going to lie to you. The Out the Bomb version, to me, it was like, that was a great.
Funny story behind that. So Nick One and Carl had approached us, and they wanted VE, Giz, SN, and myself. VE and SN had just gotten bagged, so they were just going to lay low. So Catch, Giz, myself, and Half went out. And we said, we'll do this, but only if we're going to do real spots. We don't want to do back alleys, abandoned factories, our parents' backyard. If we were going to, you know, invest the paint, we're going to make sure there was high impact areas. And initially they were like, yeah, of course, let's do it. And then when we had Carl and Nick out there, and we're doing the Lily spot, and they're shitting bricks, we take them to, you know, down to Fountain Avenue, we take them to High Point, you know, all these different, you know, high level spots, and they were scared. We got chased twice. Luckily, you don't have to be the fastest person. You just don't have to be the slowest person. But that was the first part of Out the Bomb, and then we did it with Webb and Nat as well.
Yeah, how is that like when you doing a piece? Because I've seen some extravagant pieces done, but how is it when you're doing it and then like somebody comes and tries to stop you and you got to run from them and shit like that? How is that?
I've done some rooftops. Spot Noxa and I did one on Broadway. we didn't get a chance to finish it. You know, we got spooked out of the spot. The time when we came back, didn't have access to finish it. So it's tricky. You know, doing a piece illegally, you have to be prepared that I'm not going to be able to finish this. So you gotta manage your time and say, okay, I probably got an hour, and maybe that hour is broken up because you got to watch out for what's going on. But you got to commit to doing it. And at a certain point, you know, I'd say 5 years into bombing hard, we didn't care any longer about civilians walking by. It was really, all right, you see a cop or a hero, alert, anybody else,
Fuck them.
they're not going to step to us anyway.
Right. I've just seen
noise in
pieces
the
like
background.
on the side of the bridge, and I'm like, how the fuck he get over there?
Yeah. Some of the, you know, it's amazing these days, some of the crews are doing things in, you know, with teamwork. It's not just a person. There's a team that assembles and says, okay, I'm going to do the first 2 letters, I'm going to do the next 2 letters, I'll do the final 2 letters. So synchronized action, they're getting it done faster, and that's some of those extremely high impact, dangerous spots.
But y'all wasn't doing that though.
No. But and credit to Giz and VE and SN, you know, when we first started bombing, the trains were gone. You know, we did a lot of clean trains, but the train hour was gone. The highways were starting to get buffed hard. The train stations were buffed hard. So we did a lot of rooftops and streets. And there was so much congestion with all these other bombers. Because back then, everybody had a tag. Every block, everybody had a tag. And they were doing a lot of work. And to get your name continuously out there, you had to either do it with a great degree of frequency or get creative in how you did it. So they took the ladders to the rooftops the first time. These weren't the ones that just project out. Like, you had to take a 15-foot ladder on the 7 train, sneak your way onto Roosevelt Avenue, get it on top of that roof, and then on that roof, you know, stand all the way up. And they were doing that before anybody else. And I remember when J.A. came back from California, and he was like, what the fuck was going on here? They just took it to a new level, figuratively and literally.
The individuals that I spoke to you about, those are mostly FTR writers.
Yeah.
Speak to me a little bit about the FTR origins and some of the people that was there.
We had an original cruise called TZO, the Zooted Ones. I didn't even smoke weed at the time, but it just sounded like a cool crew.
At the time?
At the time. So the prez of the crew did not like SN, and SN had become my partner. SN's sort of a unique individual. And so he's like, listen, he's not down with the crew. And I said, well, this is my man right now, and feel some sort of way. So in the basement of my boy Cease's house, Cease, Xav, SN, and myself, we were trying to come up with a new crew. And we just liked the word fuck, and just had some type of impact. And so he said, you know what, fuck them, fuck the rest of them. And FYA, which was fuck you all, Deck and No and DG and them, they're from, you know, 11385 over here, and that sort of influenced as well. And so we just came out and then just went crazy in the neighborhood, writing FTR all over the place, just the 4 of us, and then ran into my boy Tef, rest in peace. He and I had gone to junior high together in Corona. We saw each other at a CYO basketball game. We linked up. That's how I met Venner and Echo and Neva and eventually Pima from Bushwick over here. And then BW, one of our boys, went to Holy Cross High School. And that's where we met Germs and TCS crew. Then Venner went to Christ the King, and he went to school with KD, some of the KD guys. So that's how we united with Theme and them. And then half the crew went to Lane, so that's how we knew the BBK and U5 and TCF crews, and so on and so forth. So at one point, the crew probably had 200 active people chilling. You know, not everybody had a tag, but, you know, when you got the A1s and the VEs and the DGs and Venna and Neva and Deva and Germs, and there was always somebody doing something, you know, ASP, Sen, Den, you know, the list goes on, and Two Will, GA, the Running Man, SWK crew we started chilling with too from Mountain Long Island. Yeah, so at one point, 113 crew, you know, when Webb and all them started chilling out, YKK, Knox stuff, Arrive, Kaz, we were all chilling. And it was pretty much Queens and Brooklyn versus the Bronx and Manhattan. It ended up becoming like some big geopolitical type of thing. But that's the origins of the crew.
You know, what's crazy is I I was DTF, KED, and AMK.
Yeah.
Most of those crews at that time was someone interacting with each other.
Yeah.
And I was around Catch during those times. Because Catch used to be with JCJ back in the days.
Sure,
when we was
crazy
younger.
JCJ.
So we used to go racking on Steinway at they had a, what's the fucking Pergament or whatever
Pergament?
shit. Yeah, on Steinway. And that's what we used to go racking at. So, those individuals that you named and that I was hanging with, it's funny that I never really bumped into you, man. And a lot of your counterparts I've been in deep interaction with. And
he wears a mask. Like how you gonna know?
Nah, but I
don't know
must.
me in public. You know, it's funny. Catch was also a catalyst with a whole bunch of other people because Catch and TKA used to work NASA, the first rave club, and they had the door, and so from there, that's where we met like Cynic and RN from Brooklyn, but then Scans, Pax, Skier from Queens. So we had this like whole little rave connection there too. So besides so Catch was a catalyst for that branch.
Yeah, y'all had a lot of y'all had your tentacles in so many places. Like it's funny because I'd be in places that we pushing FTR that's not from the original, like those. And I'm like, how you know them?
So what crew was K Slay in? God bless the dead.
K Slay, Dez, he rode with TFB, TFP.
I think it was TFP.
That's casing them.
Yeah, TMT.
TMT also, Scheme, Sean D. Shout out to Scheme, man. Just met the brother at the Booney Walks.
Dondi. I think he was down with them.
True indeed, that's a fact. But it was y'all had your tentacles in so many places, man, and very well respected too. Let me just say, like certain crews back then didn't have no didn't hold weight. They y'all definitely was people who was respected. Like it wasn't. I never really seen no disrespect in my time. I'm talking about 90 to 94 is when I'm actively writing, and it really was. I never heard nothing negative. I remember there was a time when everybody was like, they was putting all the letters of the crews together like KED, FTR, so it was like this one long crew. So, but you always have respect. Beef wise, did you actually bump heads with anyone else?
Yeah, some local bullshit, but some more famous stuff. Trake and MQ were going at it with Giz and SN. VE to a certain degree as well. RTD crew, they had some beef with. We had beef. I had beef with KGB. So Joust and Near, Cable, Rhino. We would go at it. GNS and I went at it, McDonald Avenue in Brooklyn.
Wow.
Yeah, until Knoxer and I rode on his front stoop.
So when you say beef, well, explain that. Like, is it that, because he said it was some gangster guys that was definitely graph artists, but when it's like beef between guys that's really not trying to go to jail and y'all don't really want no real smoke with people, like what do y'all do? Y'all just go tag over they shit like space
fight?
Oh, they was fighting?
Dudes fight.
Oh, okay.
Some people get stabbed and shot too. Sure. I went to prison. My first bid was over graffiti. So so I'm gonna say this: you're one of the writers that I heard the reputation about. You're one of the people that in my time was don't fuck around. You had that reputation. I'm not gonna lie to you. I knew people from at that time. That's why I knew the school, Franklin K. Lane. And back then, anybody couldn't paint in Franklin K. Lane. No. Let me just say that. Even on our side, the Peace Factories.
Yeah.
10th Avenue, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, there's one dude that would come to Lane and diss me. And then I went to his job, and we squashed him. Bez, rest in peace. Bez from TGF crew, him and I had a lot of beef.
Oh, wow.
Did
Yeah.
he ever get physical with you guys?
Hell yeah.
Oh wow, so that's what's up.
More scars than tags.
Yeah, it's funny because it's almost like
Listen, it was a rite of passage. You know, you had to fight. It was like Fight Club day one. Like you had to fight. You know, things would get a little bit more aggressive depending on the things. You know, we had plenty of beef getting shot at, and bats and pipes and.
That sounds like some Warriors shit.
Yeah,
It is.
It certainly was. It certainly was.
it is.
Listen, there was certain neighborhoods you didn't have safe passage. You had to make sure that you were there going deep. We go to clubs. You know, we'd fight in all the clubs.
And so, you know, let's get away from the negative.
Yes.
Let's get away from that. Let's reset. Let's reset. You know, because as I said to you off camera, but I'm going to say to you on camera, your style was very unique. It wasn't, I'm going to say if graph is a right-handed sport, a right-handed action, most people are right-handed, and very few are left. You know what I mean?
So you're a left-handed writer?
No, not just not the physical left-handed,
okay.
meaning in the way
Against the grain.
Yeah, the way you your perception, the way you execute in graph is left brain. A person who may fall into that category is a wolf. A person A-OK. Another person who falls into that category is a ghost. Another person who falls into that category is a Noxer. Left brain people, like it's not the average what everybody else is doing. They got it's a little tweak in it that is abnormal. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. They have different style, original.
So in your quest to do this, where did that come from in you?
I don't think the genesis was like a conscious decision to go left when everybody was going right in the fork. I guess it was more what had influenced me. You know, Ghost was certainly somebody that would influence me because it's what I used to call it the toothpaste style. They just, everybody was doing like these hard letters at that time. Like Gumby over here was doing a lot of stuff. I got to mention Pima and F Boom. But the way that he was doing it, where he was comfortable being uncomfortable with letters and connections that weren't preset and just more fluid and organic. And sometimes his piece didn't look magnificent, but the rawness of it was like a freestyle rap. Like you find those things that connect without you really thinking about it, and just unconsciously, you're drawing that bridge. So him with those letters, he was forcing colors to come together, connections to come together that you normally would not because they weren't prototypical. Wolf the same way, System Crew, A-OK, Reese, those guys that they came from like the Strider School or LSD3, where it was just almost like acid type of influenced art, like things dripping, and there was something more there. So piecing wise, there was certainly influences, and then with the bombing, with the SH, as Picasso said, a good artist borrows, a great artist steals. Dash MDC Crew, rest in peace, and Say So from Park Slope, I guess Brooklyn. I sort of fused their styles together and then put my own little touch on it, because out in the streets I wanted my fill-in to stand out. If there's going to be 30 different films going across on Atlantic Avenue, all right, maybe I'm not going to have the frequency, or I don't have a chance to do the biggest one, but I want to have something stylistically that didn't look like the things on the left and right. So that was more of a concerted effort to do something different when it came to those films. But that was the SH I wound up doing, as you put in the front of the show. That was like my fourth fill-in. Before that, I'd done some S's by themselves that I copied Ghost's H at one point. I stopped doing SH because I had beef with Shone, I had beef with Touche. Satch already had the SH, so I went back to S's, and I said, you know what, fuck this, I'll do the SHs again. So that was probably the fourth machination of it.
Because I did see some of your throw ups without it.
Yeah,
And
I used to do these little shark ones.
It blew my mind because I was like, I never saw one of those, you know.
Yeah.
So who used to put up the S? You know how everybody used to draw the lines and then make an S like that. Somebody used to put that up all the time. You know
The
world.
world.
The world, yeah.
That goes back to Egypt.
The world.
So were you artistic before Graph, or was it Graph that got you into art?
You know, I loved comic books growing up, so I was, and my grandmother was big into the master artists, so I went to museums as a kid. But no, it was more something. I was extremely toy in the beginning. I joked with Germs JS1 that he came out of the womb with style, both behind techniques as well as a Krylon spray can. I had to do it the hard way. But then, as you see, things in black books, or you see spray can art, or you see, peak pieces on these blocks, like shit, I want to do that. I want to get more and more extravagant. So, then later on, art itself, I went to art college. Then I sort of refined and learned new techniques. So it was much later.
You had a few comrades that put in a lot of work that's not here no more.
Yeah, too many.
Off the top of my head, I'm gonna say DG exists, VE. Off the top of my head, it's someone else too.
Sure, PG.
PG also. Very influential people. Like, these are not the run of the mill.
Yeah.
These are people who put in a lot of work. When DG passed, where was you at? Like, how did it hit you?
Yeah, so he had just given me his black book 2 days before, and he used to save the covers for me to do like these intricate, detailed things. Like, I want you to do the covers, so I did the covers. And I texted him a picture that night, like around 7:02 p.m. He gets back to me, he's like, "Oh, I'll call you later." I was like, "Nah, call me tomorrow, because if he called you at 11 o'clock at night, you're staying on the phone for like 90 minutes, because he was just extra." And so then I got woken up by my daughter's mother, like, "Yo, I think something happened to DG." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And I thought something like, maybe he got shot, or he got stabbed, or he got bagged, or something like that. And I instantly go to my CNN, which is Instagram, to see all this fucking thing populating. I was like, oh shit, I call his fiancée, and she had confirmed what had happened. And it was, he was like a rock star in the graffiti world. He wasn't, forget not run of the mill when it came to style and impact and dedication. He just had a rock star personality. When he was in a room, you knew he was in a room. So I just, like many others, when a close friend dies, you don't immediately feel it, because you assume that it's bullshit. It's a prank. They're too big for that. They're going to give you a call. They're going to knock on your door. You're going to see them again. And, it's one of those things until you see the person in the casket. It doesn't really hit. And then a lot of people came out for his wake, and a lot of Graph came out after. This is only a few years ago, and a lot of beefs were squashed at that funeral.
Wow.
People who had problems, but because of their mutual friendship and interest with him, even without it being declared that they're going to squash beef, it just happened, organically. Because he was one of those people. He was a connector. He wasn't somebody who was, a disruptor when it came to friendships. But it was tough.
How did he die?
Well, he was hit by a train.
Well, he died doing what he loves.
Yeah, unfortunately, he wasn't bombing. He was probably under the influence of way too many things, and he got off on the wrong train station. So to hurry up and go across the tracks instead of walking around, that's probably how it was done. Nobody witnessed it directly.
Well, that's interesting to clear that up, because I heard a lot of different stories about
the way
he passed
that's
away.
The closest thing that I know to what the events were. But that day was like a documented day. He was all over the place that day.
Why do you call him Rocket Man?
Yeah, so
I seen it in one of your posts.
Yeah, like a firecracker, just explosive personality. He'd like to go into the stratosphere. I'll leave it at that without getting into his personal details. But he was just, an explosive person that was just loud, like a rocket. So we called him Rocket Man. And I did his eulogy, and I had sort of tied in the song by Elton John, Rocket Man, into sort of like a Graffiti merged eulogy.
Homage to it.
One of my favorite songs by Elton John too.
Yeah.
Right now, New York is going through like some other shit. It's not our New York. If you are a person who grew up in the 90s, it isn't our New York. It's someone else's New York. How do you feel about this new New York, graph-wise?
Yeah, I'll tie it in first with, I'm not a believer in that there's a permanent ownership of anything, whether it's something tangible like land or whether it's intangible like a movement or a culture. So I believe that it should be passed along over time. There's been a strong, grip from outside sources in graffiti in the last 20 years. New York was 90%, whatever the percentage was, and everything else was just sort of splintered across the world. Now you had all the people that came to New York, some in the early 2000s, for the purpose of bombing here, because this was the Mecca at the time. But it sort of has morphed. You can certainly see some of the influences. There's, I wouldn't call like a degradation, but there seems to be like a retro look where people are trying to go back a few different generations stylistically. I don't think they're trying to do it because it was a simpler execution. I just think it's more of a fad. And then there's some that are just trying to keep going, forward more or evolve state. So you go down any street right now, you see a dichotomy of different styles merging. The Wombat, I like it. I would call it like the Sid and Nancy of graffiti, more like some punk type of stuff, but it stands out.
It does. It does.
Certainly some unique spots, and there's some social messages that are accompany the art, so I appreciate that as well, that it's not just him doing letters. Similar to Neckface, as you mentioned earlier, Neckface also would have a message with his stuff, which, going back to Saint and Smith, I appreciate the people that they won't consider it a platform like we say with other artists, but it is a platform. And here's my name, plus here's something next to it as well. So those things get joined together, and whether it's a PSA, a positive public service announcement, or if it's just something a little bit more controversial, it's cool.
Do you still put up now? Do you put up like very big pieces or controversial pieces in different parts of the city now, today?
Plead the fifth.
I want to build on what he asked you about writers, because there's a lot of writers from out of town that are coming here now to smash it. And a lot of European writers are actually rocking the trains. Why is it you think that New York writers stay away from the trains?
Well, the New York writers that do the trains, and they do them actively, they just don't do their tag.
Okay.
They'll do different tags, made up things. So there's a lot of activity. You don't want to do it in your own backyard where the net of the Vandal squad or whomever can get tied around. You're an out-of-towner, you have an inside scoop, they're usually going to use somebody that's from here to let them know, hey, this is the way to do it. They're in, they're out. Maybe they come here once a year like a vacation to do something, so the probability of them getting caught or tripped up decreases. Plus, if they do get bagged, they're going to get a slap on the wrist, and it's not like they're going to get their passport held either. They're going to go back home.
So what is the consequences of getting caught by tagging up a big piece somewhere?
Sometimes it's financial. Sometimes it's you going to jail.
Going to Rikers.
Sometimes it's a dismissal.
It depends where, how, who's bagging you, their temperament that day, what the system has as far as an inventory of cases. There's all different outcomes that are based on variables that fluctuate.
And what's funny is talking about the out of town stuff and the in town people. I know someone who paints the train on a regular basis, and is disguised. It's disguised.
Yeah.
You can't. Them niggas will be on your ass if you was putting world on a million trains. Like, you know what I mean?
So they still will tag on trains or in the tunnels?
So people ride on trains,
the trains
but
get
not
hit.
under your tag.
Yeah.
You don't use your tag.
They use an alias.
So they be having like rock and roll. It's like the stuff you see on trains has to do with.
But these new trains now, like once you put it up there, they got like a squad to automatically take it down. So why would you really bomb the trains itself? I can see you doing like in the tunnel.
In the digital era, nothing's done in a vacuum. So even if you didn't see it ride, there's gonna be a picture that's posted, and then it'll just grow from there.
Oh, okay,
so,
okay.
That's a fact.
I understand.
Yeah,
that's a fact.
Like you said, nostalgic. Like,
Yeah.
You know, before we one of the things I want to talk to you about before we bring on my man Xavr, I want to speak about your transition from graph to doing illegal stuff to doing contemporary art.
yeah.
How was that transition? And talk to me a little bit about your art and what you've been doing.
So, where initially graffiti was probably something I did because of peer pressure everybody was doing at the time. It was a fun thing to do, good way to meet chicks. No. And then the vandalism was a good way of getting rid of stress at a young age. When I did retire from the illegal activity stuff and I was just doing more pieces, I still had that creative bug within me, and as a decompressing agent, I guess I was just doing a lot of drawing and paintings at home. You know, so it's my way of staying somewhat active in it, but more just to express and get things out. And then I just challenged myself the same way that a bomber challenges themselves to go to the higher spots or the more impact spots or doing a lot of things. You transition that same energy and that intent towards something else. So I just kept trying to do more and more canvas work, experimental. I don't have a problem with doing something outside of my norm. Also know a lot of people around me that were just influences on that, you know.
Some artists, they separate their graph from their contemporary art.
Yeah.
Are you one of those artists?
There's a mild separation. There's not a clear, divorce between the two. I don't have like a nom de bloom, a different name I go under for art. It's still slash for the contemporary art. Yeah, and listen, art for me, it's not something that it's not the financial goal. It's more just I guess a little bit of a legacy, a little bit of fun, a little bit of just staying within the culture, to a different degree.
Yeah, you did a piece, the Macbeth piece.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Thanks.
Incredible. And I mean, incredible. Tell me about that piece, man. So, how did you conceptualize it? How did that come about?
Well, so Macbeth itself, I do like to read a lot, and I try to bring things from literature into my art. Like years ago, would write a lot of Edgar Allan Poe poems within my pieces. A lot of Victor Hugo stuff has influenced my art. So Macbeth is just a character in Western civilization that's well known, and a corrupted soul. You can't necessarily say all good or all bad, which is probably the same way I see graffiti. You can't say it's all good or all bad. Just like a lot of things in life, it has its balance in both worlds. So that was probably just just want to do something that was off the beaten path and touched into that literature connection.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Being the fact that you're from that era, like you, I would say you're from like the golden era of graffiti art, right? So when did it really get to the point where when they started cleaning up New York and stuff like that, where it was really stopping y'all from tagging up excessively like how it was before?
No, it didn't stop us. If anything, we happened to be at the point where the generation prior, the train era, when they saw the trains go away, the thing that they were most familiar with, they retired. The majority retired. We then didn't have that mobile metal canvas, so we had to get a little bit more creative in where we were going to do it. So if anything, every time they would try to buff a highway or the streets, because I grew up on Myrtle Avenue over here, and I remember coming home in '92 from a trip, and F Boom and Echo had community service, and they buffed all the gates from Wyckoff to Woodhaven Boulevard. I was like, what the fuck? So we decided, okay, watch this. And we just went bonkers on the streets as sort of a, payback to the local community and or cops that had, paid to have everything painted over. So no, it wasn't a suppressing agent. If anything, it was a motivation.
Okay.
Have you been tapping in with the $1 million Vandal joint on YouTube?
I've seen it.
How you felt about that?
I appreciate. I'll call him Rob because he announces who he is. Rob is somebody that was put on the front page of the Daily News not for fame, but to really make a point, and he was sort of a scapegoat for a lot of things. So he was like a poster child for a system that was really looking to just hurt an individual without recognizing what brought this teenager to this. So they didn't put the mirror in front of themselves saying, okay, we're failing the youth. They just try to villainize this one particular person. And, Rob Dessa could have taken a different path, and he chose to own it. And he has said, all right, listen, this is who I am. It's in my veins, literally and figuratively. He's unapologetic and, unabashed about his story. And he doesn't do it with fanfare. His chest is never out. He's not a bragger or anything like that. But he lays it down the way it is. It's almost like an historian who's actually the active person in a autobiography of a movement. So I appreciate the way that it was done.
Yeah, I watched it. It was very interesting. I never met Dessa. I seen him writing though, but I never met him.
Yeah.
But I seen him writing though, for sure. Like actually in act. And at the time when I was young and when that actually happened, it was to me groundbreaking. I was probably like, that was like early 90s. To see a young person doing what we're doing, and it was like, to me, even though it was a negative, it was a positive. Like,
listen, when I got the call that morning, check out the Daily News. Des is on the cover of the Daily News. This is pre news stations 24/7.
Pre-social media.
Pre-social media. So it was the town crier. It was one of like two spots where everything was going to be broadcasted, and my man was on the cover.
It was huge. My man was TKA at the time.
Yeah, Steve.
And I was really tight with TKA. And as I said, I never met Dessa, but it was huge to me. Like, I remember coming to high school, Murray Bertram at that time, and my man Jap was like, yo, you seen it? You seen it? And I'm like this. Yeah, like it was just inspiring.
My parents were talking about it. Like, it was, it was a thing. But yeah, funny story is that I had beef with Dessa and TKA. That's how I met them.
So this goes into one of the last question.
Yeah.
Beef wise, did you ever? Is there anyone that you have beef with that you're cool with now?
Oh, plenty. Like I'm sure we all have had experiences. Some of the people that we had problems with wind up becoming some of our closest friends. So yeah, again, Des is a good example where I went to go fight him and TKA by the garbage truck yard. They looked at, I've been the same size since I was 12, and they're like, get the fuck out, we're not fighting you. And I said, all right, well, give me paint. And they weren't gonna give that concession either, and I respected that. I was like, let's go bomb together. And we became cool. But no, a lot of people that I had beef with, it wasn't personal. It was graffiti shit. That we're cool now.
Yeah, you had, and as I was going back to us speaking about the gangster writer, as I said, you did have, I had that reputation. Let me just say, I was one of those people.
Yeah.
So your name definitely was one of those names that I heard like, nah, son, get busy. I like this. Okay, the name, no lie to you, the name itself is intimidating. Let me just say that to you.
Yeah.
As a young child, I was like this, slash. It had its energy with its energy. You know what I mean? Like, and not every tag is like that too. Let me just say that. But
You spell yours how? What is it? A special way you write it?
SLASH.
Oh, okay, like regular.
Slopsher slasher, horror movie slasher.
Yeah, like a slasher movie.
Yeah. So to me, I've been around some of those types. JCJ is one of those types. Like, he's a person who don't give a fuck. He fight. I don't care what your denomination is. Win, lose, or draw. He's one of them type of people. You know what I mean? There's a few people who are like that. And then I've been around the total opposite. And who avoids everything. Like, oh, no. Like, who would change they won't say who they are. That was really big back in my time. Like, what you write? Dudes will say some fake names.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so like not everyone, just like any gang shit, people do be like, yo, you blood? They be like, and then they're around the Bloods though, they're like, I'm blood. But around, you surrounded by Crips, niggas be like this.
Nah, I just like this color.
Works on my complexion.
Yeah.
You know, so.
I think in the blood, and I'm not a blood or Crip or no gang member, but I think in the Bloods, it's against the rules for you to denounce or not say who you are. So if somebody come up to you and they be like, what's your handle? You got to tell them, even if it's a bunch of Crip niggas.
And
you got to tell them.
And I heard that the Crips is different. They don't have to say, they don't have to
can hide
say
their shit. But the Bloods, you got to say, I'm a Blood and I'm down with all that. You got to say where you from and your set and all that.
That's a fact. So any shout outs you want to give, I so appreciate you coming through, God. You know, I've been working on this interview for a long time, man. We've been working on this. It was a great interview. I already knew he was going to come with a deep perspective. I knew that it was more than just writing on walls with you. I knew that.
This guy knows everybody. He's
yeah. So what
the OG of the.
You're also going to be in our art show this week.
Yeah.
Where the actual art show, the 1718 collective, the one you're talking about. Our art and cosplay exhibition is happening at 2 Prince Street, the 23rd to the 26th, I believe, or the 27th.
Tomorrow. Come out tomorrow.
It's happening. 2 Prince Street. Pull up. Follow us on the Vandal Hour. You will see all the information. We got a lot of dope artists that's going to be a part of it. Any shout outs you want to give, God?
If I go down the list, I'm going to forget somebody and I get pissed. So I'll just shout out to everybody that's part of the crew, FTR, and certainly a shout out to all the friends that are no longer with us. We do our best to keep their names alive in memory as well as alive on walls. So that's all.
Yo, who was the vice pres of FTR?
There were a couple of vice pres, but Vanua was the main vice pres.
Okay.
Is it okay to show homage to another artist to put up their tag, like try to tag it like them and put a piece up for them? Is that okay?
Only if you're transparent that you're doing it for them.
Right.
You know, there's some other sanes that have written sane, or people that are no longer with us, like Poke. There's somebody writing Poke all over the place right now. Poke,
I sent that. Which
so
is,
I don't think they're doing it out of homage. They're just doing it out of some misplaced understanding of, oh, this name already had some notoriety. Let me just live off of that.
Continue it.
Yeah,
that's weird. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, that is weird.
I'm not gonna say there's and then a lot of people who just don't know history. I'm gonna say this. As a child, I was one of those. My tag was a certain tag that was a famous graffiti writer.
So you were one of them guys.
A very famous graffiti writer. I didn't know though, and I was so tired of changing my name so many times. Like every tag I picked was somebody else's tag that I said, fuck that, man. They told me some older dude, like 20 years older than me. I'm like, I don't even fuck about that motherfucker. Shout out to Knock 167. So we're gonna close out. Thank you for coming through, telling your story. We're gonna get our next interview on, but while that's happening, we're gonna throw some of his music on so we could take some pictures with the guard. We're gonna play about 2 songs from my man. Let me say his name correct, because I heard them laugh when I said the name. So can I get the name?
Xavr.
Xav Sosa.
Xavr. The soil rises. Bush wicked, baby. So we got the guard coming on. We're gonna play about 2 or 3 of his songs, and then when we come back, we'll have him in the building. Thank you for staying tuned in with the Vandal Hour. We are back, baby.
Yeah.
Like cook crack.
Yeah.
I don't smoke it, but we are back like it. Peace.
No blackjack, no dope deals, no nothing. A nickel bag gets sold in the park. I want in.
In the wicked, it get real. No, you don't wanna play. Straight out of Brooklyn. On my party impulsive. So you rises. Straight out of Bushwick. On my party impulsive. In the wicked, it get real. No, you don't wanna play. Straight out of Bushwick. On my party impulsive. Straight out of Brooklyn. On my party impulsive.
Chavito, mami, pues dale mamá, sigue moviendo con mucha gana. Para ayudarte por de espalda, lo hacemos esta mañana. Mi flow llama a mis panas, ustedes no quieren drama. Estaba luchando por un rato, pero llegó la fama. Ve mala mía, si mi vida es poesía. Cada día se lo dije que esto me llegaría. ¿Quién diría? Mi arte vendiendo en galería. Somos leones, pregúntale a Elías. Mira cómo se encojona, chavito, ignora, yeah. Y no es mi culpa que mi flow yo lo tripea. Lo hipnotizo, preciso, tan loco sin idea. Vea como ella menea, chavito la perrea. En el acto la cogí con impacto. Tacto, métele bellaco. Ajá. Si contrato, hacho, borracho. Con este ritmo, mami, latigazo. Como güey, como güey.
In the wicked, it get real. No, you don't wanna play. Straight out of Brooklyn. On my party impulsive. So you rises. Straight out of Bushwick. On my party impulsive. In the wicked, it get real. No, you don't wanna play. Straight out of Bushwick. On my party impulsive. Straight out of Brooklyn. On my party impulsive. Your introduction, you postponed it. Mirrors broken, the truth, you didn't own it. This was homegrown road. Hard knock life, no they can't knock us. In the gutter you can see the grasshoppers. Impact, headshot down, Knickerbocker. Blocker. It got wicked in the route. They try to figure me out. I pack that smoke louder. I see it in their eyes, what they do for that power. So you rises after you said there'll be no flowers. The impact was felt from the ground up. In the wicked, it get real. No, you don't wanna play. Straight out of Brooklyn. On my party impulsive. So you rises. Straight out of Bushwick. On my party impulsive. In the wicked, it get real. No, you don't wanna play. Straight out of Bushwick. On my party impulsive. Straight out of Brooklyn. On my party impulsive. You don't wanna play. You don't wanna play. You don't wanna play. You don't wanna play. In the wicked, it get real. In the wicked, it get real. Oh, you don't wanna play. Straight out of Bushwick. On my party and bullshit. You don't wanna play.
Yeah, we are back. The Vandal Hour Season 9, Episode 1. We are back. We just had the writer Slash FTR in the building. Shout out to Slash FTR. Dope interview. But now we're going to get into this hip hop shit. For the people who may not know this brother, man, he's been putting in a lot of pain, man. I'm following him on the gram. I see him in the car spitting shit. I see him with the peoples shooting videos deep. He got Bushwick, the whole Bushwick in the videos. He's doing it. He's putting it in. He's putting it on for Bushwick, as he call it, Bushwicked. It is my pleasure to introduce to y'all up and coming dope MC by the name of Xav. I keep saying the name wrong. Say it for me, girl.
Xavier Sosa.
Xavier Sosa. Yo, matter of fact, let me make sure. And since you got your brother here, let's put the mic up for the guard real quick. Guard, talk to him real quick while I set up the microphone.
All right, so Xavier Sosa, man, welcome to the show. I guess everybody could figure out that you're from Bushwick. What was it like growing up in Bushwick?
What was it like growing up in Bushwick? It was a lot of learning. It was a lot of experiences, a lot of community vibes, it was a whole journey, man. It was like a whole world on its own growing up in Bushwick.
So, all right, how did you come up with the name Bushwicked?
Yeah, right. How I came up Bushwicked. Way is deep, man. I had the name of the project I was gonna drop with my first project, the Bushwicked one, the Bushwicked EP. I was gonna name it The Execution. And basically, my daughter was catching seizures at the time, and I ended up in a hospital, and I had to finish. I was finishing the project, and I came up with the song Bushwicked. I wrote that song that day that she called the first seizure, and basically, I was like, damn, everything is is Bushwicked. It's like it's just wicked, but in Bushwick, you know what I'm saying? And basically, when I came out, when I came out the hospital the next day, I ended up recording that song, and it ended up being the title of the project, which now is Bushwicked 1, Bushwicked 2.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. As I said, you've been putting it in, laying it down seriously. Recently, you did the Bushwick Collective 2 years in a row. Yeah. 2 years in a row. I must congratulate you on that. 2 years in a row. Talk to me about your experience with the Bushwick Collective and how that even came about.
My guy, in that world, you see me working, and they started acknowledging me, and the rest was history. And you know what I'm saying, but basically they see me grinding, and that's why I always tell a lot of artists don't skip steps, you know what I'm saying. So they came through and acknowledged me, and then I hit that stage, and I opened up for KRS-One the first year, and Havoc for Mobb D, and then you know what I'm saying. So I salute all the grind, you know what I'm saying.
Ice-T too.
Ice-T was the next year after that.
Don't you got a picture with Ice-T?
Nah, but that was the year after that. That was the first year. That was this year. Yeah. Ice-T was this year.
Yeah, I seen Ghostface, Ice-T, man. That's fucking dope, man. I'm gonna say this: if they didn't have you in the Bushwick Collective event, it would be whack. Because how can you not have a known Bushwick artist in an event that's in Bushwick? Yeah, that would to me disrespectful. So the fact that you've been doing it for the past 2 years, I respect that. I respect that, especially from them.
Yeah, that's my family. That they became family. They basically embraced me. You know what I'm saying, and embraced the grind. And I feel like they have never overlooked anybody else, you know what I'm saying? It's just about everybody got to execute. And it's like if somebody got a platform, like right now I'm here because, you built this platform, you know what I'm saying? And you kept working and you kept grinding, and we meet here. The grind meets us there, you know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm just grateful for every opportunity because when you grind and you don't skip steps, we will all meet, and that's how me and Bushwick Collective met, and this is how we all here, S.STREET Media Vandal Hour.
Yo, yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact. Speak to me about growing up in Bushwick. Your story starts in Bushwick. And so let me know your history and your background growing up in Bushwick.
I'm from Jefferson Street between Wilson and Knickerbocker. That's the whole, I call it Times Square out there. Jefferson, Trauma, Star, Melrose, George. That's like that whole little section. It's like, that's the soil. And I'm growing up there, man, the whole, like, it was a lot of action, man. It was just, that shit was zombie land. It was a lot of crack, a lot of dope, a lot of fucking gangs, fucking, a lot of things that made me grow up fast, and it made me see it, in a wicked way because I knew it was, it made me see it from a different angle than other kids from different neighborhoods because I was right there where it was like red zone.
That's a fact. Bushwick back in the days, if you don't know, Bushwick, man, we used to call it the dark side back in the days. Shout out to my man Dark Side Preem. Shout out to F Boom. My cousin Hops also who was in the Bushwick Collective as a painter. Bushwick, the dark side had a reputation. It was definitely known for the money. I'm gonna say that. The dope and crack had the dope dealers and the crack dealers from out here had reputations. Very well known, very well known. I forgot the dude name that had there's a famous dude that they got interviews on him. He just came home from doing Mad Machete.
Machete, okay.
Yeah, a known Bushwick dude who was putting in pain.
That's a fact.
Allegedly, snitched on him. The ghetto boy, Bushwick Bill, is the person who told on him, and he bounced to Texas after that.
Wow.
And that's how he becomes the ghetto boy.
Well, yeah, you grew up right in the notorious area. Maria Hernandez Park is right up the block from over there.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, you already know about that park. That park is notorious.
Notorious to have the police station right inside the park.
You know what's funny? I remember when over by Troutman, that precinct that's there, that was like new. If I'm not mistaken, we used to paint in that park back in the days. F Boom and everybody.
The schoolyard. That was the Bushwick Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and then later I think they changed that into the precinct. Like that, they build something of the precinct into that part?
I'm not too sure.
It's been a while.
The first time I went to Bushwick was with Hobbs.
Yeah, when I used to go to Bushwick when Kentucky Fried Chicken was open, across the street from Kentucky Fried Chicken, they used to have the a pool hall. They used to have the pool hall that everybody used to hang out in. And we used to paint somewhere on Troutman. But there used to be a school there.
There's a school. Is the school still there?
School there?
Yep.
All right. Did a PSA precinct always exist, or did that come later? I think the PSA, what's that precinct?
You're talking about the one close to
the housing precinct is new.
Is new. Yeah.
Yeah. That one is new. That wasn't there before. So when I was going to Bushwick, that precinct didn't exist. The soil rises, man. You've been putting out music under these monikers. Talk to me about some of the people that helped you put that project together.
Which project? This last project?
Before we get to the new one, the older projects. Who was some of the producers you was working with? Was you connected to any labels, or was you doing this independently?
The last project that I dropped was Bushwicked 1 and then Bushwicked 2, and then Revelations I dropped in 2017. So everything, the Revelations, it was more like other people's beats. I was just like, getting beats thrown at me. But then on Bushwicked 1, the EP, I sat down with Willie Styles and D Vargas, and I basically, and Rain Beats, and exclusively sat down with them, and I basically co-produced every beat that was made in that project. I wanted, like, the way I wanted to be sound, you know what I'm saying, from a snare to a kick to a hi-hat, I wanted to be a part of it, you know what I'm saying? So that's how all the projects have happened, like Bushwicked 1, Bushwicked 2, that's all, like, you know, me being a part of it from every stem, from the stems.
Yo, shout out to my man D Vargas. Shout out to my man Willie Styles. That's where we seen each other most of the time.
Facts. And when we saying about like the So You Rises, the So You Rises is the movement. So the So You Rises, yeah. So you know the Bushwicked project, you know all of that. The So You Rises is the movement. Is basically me in a 3D form, like the hats. Check them out, you heard? Bottom,
Fire.
always hustling, never stopping.
Fire.
But basically, it's just, you know, it's the So You Rises is me acknowledging other artists as I was rising. I said I'm gonna plant seeds because there's more of me here, and I feel like I knew that I would get into certain rooms, and I said, you know, as you follow, you know, me, because I'm leading by example. If you was leading by example, like I said, the grind will meet us here. So we, the ones that lead by example, the grind meet us right here. So that's where we went with the So You Rises, because I knew that when the planted seeds was gonna happen, the So You will rise, and that's why we're here. We rising.
I'm definitely going to say your sound is definitely original. It's your sound. Can you describe your sound in words? Because I'm going to say this. It's hip-hop fully, but it has a twang of like, I'm going to say it almost have like when you, the wicked, it's almost a dance hallish twang to it. Yeah, it's because you got your own like you got your own shit. Even when you be like when you be doing your sound effects, it's your sound effects. Like if somebody else do that shit, I'm like they got that shit from the guard. They got that shit from the guard. So describe that sound. How did you come up with that sound, man?
I had dropped a mixtape in 2004 and 2006. Shit on You mixtape. And the Capital Punishment, the Resurrection, which I was, you know, I was big on Big Pun, you know what I'm saying, at that time. So I was lyrical. Everything was just like, you know, but it was disrespectful rap, raw rap, you know what I'm saying, like shit that people loved, right? You know what I'm saying, at that time. But it was going over people's heads. I was doing fucking 1,000 bars, you know what I'm saying? So I said, I went through a process in my life where I had, you know, I almost lost my life and I had to reevaluate how I was going to approach things. And then that's when, you know, I started finding my voice, and I was like, "Oh shit, I could hit them with the bars, and still glide on them with the flow." You know what I'm saying? And so basically, it was always been right. I've been writing since I was 9, so it's always been poetry. It's always been poetry. So, but when I started discovering my style, it was me finding my voice with the lyrics. And then, you know, my conviction, you know, because it's like I bled, sweat, and tear for this shit. So every time you hear me, you're gonna hear, you're gonna
that
feel
conviction.
Me.
That conviction.
That's why that's why I always say you better pack a punch behind your punchlines. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a whole story behind my story, and you can feel it in the aura in any room I'm in. Thank you.
That's a fact. You've worked with one of our brothers, IR PCU, Graph-wise. Talk to me on how that collaboration happened.
Man, that's my brother, man.
Shout out to him.
You know, Bushwick Low Lives. He did the war. He did the first war, man. He did the first war, the So You Rises war. It was one of the best gifts of my life, you know what I'm saying? Because it was like the first time I could have that on the wall. I have my energy on the wall, and then people could see it. And you know what I'm saying, be like, oh yo, that's that energy he's putting out, that's that music, that's that kid, that's that the neighborhood, that art represented so much. So for him to do that for me, bro, I love you, bro. You heard? Because that was real. And then we followed up and we did the Bush Wicked War, where other artists from other neighborhoods came. You know what I'm saying? And they wanted they wanted that energy, because Bushwick neighborhood is rising in New York City. You know what I'm saying? And we hot right now, respectfully, and we making it hot, because in life we have two choices: you either have shit happen for you, or you make shit happen. And that's what we doing over here. We making sure that we know the town is Bushwicked. We know that some love is tainted. Some love ain't real. But you know what? We here. We gonna keep doing it. We gonna keep rising. We gonna keep making the impact. And at the end of the day, love is gonna win over hate, because at the end of the day, that's the way it's gonna be at.
You've mentioned Bushwick. You gotta mention the Soy Rises. You heard?
That's a fact.
Matching them up together, right?
You have to. Anytime you say Bushwick, you gotta say the Soy Rises.
Yeah, because you know what it is. I'm not doing it in a way that is just me. I actually embrace other movements and other energies. You know what I'm saying? But then I also highlight other energies. Like if you try to outshine me, nigga, better put that work in. Yeah. Put that work in, because I'm kicking in the door and I'm actually saying y'all niggas is hot. I'm saying y'all niggas is hot, all of y'all. But you got keep up. You got to keep creating, because if you're not, then we're not gonna meet there. Yeah. And you can't be mad at me when you see me going somewhere that you can't go, or I'm shaking hands with certain people, or in certain rooms with certain people, because I had to grab my shovel and dig. It don't matter how, before when I first started doing the music, again with my style, everybody would be like, yo, I was hearing, the whispers, oh, his style is different, all this, it's not rap, it's not rap, it's not rap. So, this last project, Bushwick 2, I wanted to show them that, I still rap, I could rap, like, it's not even, like, I got projects that I had the whole neighborhood, like, know me, because I was selling, like I said in my interviews before, I was selling my CDs for $5 to niggas' grandmothers. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was selling it with a nigga fucking nasty skunk. And here, like, toma abuela, you heard? Smoke that pure. You know what I'm saying?
Facts. So,
and listen to the CD.
That leads into one of my questions. How was the neighborhood reacting to you doing your music? Because you're really carrying Bushwick on your back. I done heard you say that yourself. How was the neighborhood reacting to that music that you was putting out?
That from the last couple of projects?
From the beginning to now.
From my first run, like at the beginning years ago, I had to like shove it down their throat. You know what I'm saying? No pause. Like I had to really be aggressive with it, and because they wasn't getting it. Because it's poetry. I write backwards. So I start writing and I start shit just, it comes to me, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm connected to the God. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, it just comes and it's pure, it's different. So, I don't know.
So, you said that you like to meet up with other people and work with people.
Yeah.
What MCs have you worked with in the past?
Right now, my whole project, I had, different, features, you know what I'm saying, from the neighborhood. I done throw my own events. We throw our own events, and we have different collaborations with different artists. That's how I give back to them. And in a couple, I had 4 features on this project. I always try to I always embrace other artists. But as far as going forward right now, I'm finishing up the videos to this project, and on my third project, on this project, on Bushwick 3 coming out, it's gonna be just basically me.
So you say you're finishing up the videos. Do you do the videos yourself, or you have a team that does it?
Nah, Direct the Clock like a Piff. You know what I'm saying? That's my guy.
That's the people. Shout out to Cloud Piff.
Film department, that's my brother. We've been killing shit. Like 90% of my visuals has come from him. You know what I'm saying? I did Wicked Party remix I did with Mimic. Shout out to him. You know what I'm saying? Dope up and coming director from the city. Low Key Vision did another video for me recently too from PA. So those dope directors. Yeah.
I see you working with Sek Baby too.
Seek
Baby. Yeah, that's the people's too.
They don't get our names right, Seek. Nah, Seek.
Yo,
Man.
that's and know what's funny? That's the
Seek.
That's the people's. His people's had a show here for a long time called Real Recognized. Shout out to So Dope KOK. But yeah, they came. They used to come through on a regular basis. I see you, him. What's my other man that be with y'all too, man? He always be shot, even when you advertised it.
Who?
Legend the Great.
Legacy.
Legacy the Great. I'm saying everybody's name wrong, right? It's the weed, man. It's the weed.
I just covered the show with Sec Baby.
Seek
Baby, Certified Gauge, Legacy the Great.
Certified Gauge.
They was at the Haven, right?
It was at the Haven.
At the Haven. Shout out to Wayne.
It was a versus.
We got I got Certified Gauge in his project and Seek Baby in his project, like a couple records, you know, like we out there, we playing work, My guy Ghost, Savage Ghost.
Shout out to Ghost in the building over there, baby.
You know. Echoes of the Truth. We got a couple features. Like I said, I gave back to the Soyu because it was like, nigga, like whatever I'm doing, whatever I'm grinding, and whatever shine I'm gonna get, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna be like, look, this is how the formula works. You know what I'm saying? This is how it works. But you gotta put in your own work. Cause then nobody nobody held my hand and kept going. You know what I'm saying? I've been going through mad shit behind the scenes that people don't see in this music shit, and I keep going and I teach them the same shit. I'm like, yo, bro, if you want it like the way I want it right now, like you got to keep going. And
so, you sound real motivated. What is it that gives you that motivation?
I told you a story with my daughter.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I've been writing since I was 9. My father's a writer. You know, he has a story. He got books published. So I carry it in my blood. You know what I'm saying? Like I got a story. I know since I was young that my words with power. You know what I'm saying? There's power to the words. So you gotta watch what you say. So I'm here, fighting that fight. You know what I'm saying? To make sure that we put a certain energy out there. Having fun, make it fun and all that. But at the same time, I watch what I say when I speak. As far as in my music, you know what I'm saying? Because I know that it carries a certain energy.
I'm not going to lie to you. Every time I build with you, it's always that you always on that type of time. Yeah. Every time. Even on our casual but at the end of the message, you be like, yo, boy, let me know when you're going to be in and doing interviews. I'm like, oh. Yeah. Like you be in mode. Every time I see you,
positive mode.
I never see you not in your. When I see you, I never see you not in that mode. Like you're in fully focused. You're always completing something. So when I see you, like yo, we just dropped the album. Yo, we just shot the video. Yo, I got the event going on. Like every time, I got the
hats, I got the jackets,
every
I got the
time.
Man, talk about the hats and the jackets. You guys got a whole line.
Talk to us about the clothes, man. Talk to us about the clothes.
The Soyu Rises merch right now. Like basically, we got the hats with the 3D puff prints. Right now, we got those. We got the shirts. We got the hoodies. We've been, the hood, the Soyu been showing us a lot of love with the clothing, and I appreciate y'all. I appreciate all of y'all that been following me through this journey and that supported me, with the brand. The brand, the brand, it was like a joke that I was telling people. I was like, yo, a skinny person puts a shirt on, a Bushwicked shirt on, and he gains muscles out of nowhere. Cause a bald dude put the hat on, nigga grew a fro. You know what I'm saying? Because it carries a certain energy. I learned to put my energy in certain things, with pure intentions. Yeah. So that's why we growing, and like I said, that's why we meet in here, because the energy is growth.
Yeah, those hats are definitely fire, man.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Man. They look clean. They look official. Like the artwork look good.
Yeah. Shout out to my guy Heavy Print. You heard? Heavy. We heavy in the soil. The heavy is in Bushwick. That's my guy. He's the fertilizer behind the brand.
Well, an artist without merch is gonna lose. Like that's you need to be rocking. Anyone should be rocking their shit all the time. If you're a person that rock your shit all the time, and if it's good, guaranteed somebody's gonna ask you, where you got that from?
That's a fact.
That's why
All the time. I get that all the time. And if you smart enough to have some like ready, it's money on the table.
And
it's money on the table.
And a lot of artists like they when they don't use merch and they start doing like the whole what is it, like the big names, not to shoot them down, the big names, the brands. It's like it's cool, but it's like it's not you. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, like I said, not to shout out the names, but you screaming out all of these other names, and it's like, where are you? So that's where I learned the branding, and I was like, you know, I want me. Jordan was Jordan. I want Xavier to be Xavier, because and that's how I started putting my energy out there, because I'm like, I'm not gonna keep, you know, highlighting everything else. You know, you could see me sometimes. You carry some brand. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, most of the time, I'm promoting my brand.
Yeah, you're giving those brands. Well, other artists give those brands free promotion, and what are they doing for them?
Yeah, nothing.
Nada.
Yeah, nothing. But you know, that's what we're trying to kill. We're trying to kill all that fake trend that is like, oh, you need to wear this because it's hot. My shit is hot because I said it's hot. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's hot to you. This is hot to me, and we're gonna see. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna see eventually. You know, who builds an audience that's gonna follow what's hot, because everybody likes something. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna keep putting my shit out there so people keep growing and growing and growing, and then, you know, we'll meet somewhere else.
Recently, you've been working with artist Danny Cortez.
My brother.
That's the brother right there, you heard?
On music.
AKA Chavito.
How did you get that to happen? Because when I
on this guy right
answer the question.
When I said that, I didn't even believe it was him. I had to go to his page to be like,
nah,
is that him?
Chavito is a brother, man. That's my brother. He dealt with my brother too. We all just been family, you know. And X is my brother, so it was nothing but a phone call to be like, yo, let's get this Bushwick started. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's already been started. Let's make it history right
it's
there.
Bushwick
like, you know?
history, because, you know,
if y'all don't know Danny Cortez, he was Chavito back then. He was a known artist back then, so you know.
Bushwick.
He put in work.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so the music came before the art.
So he was an artist before the art. So you know what I'm saying? So a lot of people don't know that.
Exclusive. We got some exclusive shit here, baby, on the Vandal Hour season 9.
So for him to give me the opportunity, because I looked up to him in the neighborhood as far as the way his work ethic was before when he was a rapper. So seeing that, for him to turn around his life and have the attention he has now, you know what I'm saying, and the accomplishments, you know what I'm saying, and to come back and give me the feature when I was like, yo, I embraced you from then, and now I'm embracing you even more because I seen you fell and you actually came back and, you know what I'm saying, climbed up again. So it's like, to have him in a record, bro, like I said, it's priceless.
It was cool because they both blowing up in the neighborhood. So to have two major figures in Bushwick to join together and do a song together was big.
It was genius.
Yeah, that was big.
It was genius. Yeah,
it was big.
I didn't know the God for a long time.
Yeah.
He came to one of my events recently, probably like maybe that was like 8 months ago that he was chilling with us. Mm-hmm. And that was the first time I met him. One of my right hands, one of the people who's I'm not gonna call him a founder, but he's been rocking with us at the Vandal Hour since day one, is my man JB. JB is a light-skinned, half black, half Puerto Rican guy that he's with a lot. And that was the person, he had came to see JB at my event. And that was kind of the introduction to the God. And then when Nep, rest in peace.
May rest in peace,
what is wrong? When Nep TCH passed away, me and Danny chilled at Ortiz Funeral Home. It was over at 10. We stood there till about 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. So that was just us, Nep brought us together, and we both was close friends of him, so we just started like conversating. And he was a person that also championed your music also. When I see Danny Cortez, he's always pushing your shit too.
Nah, yeah,
you know what I mean?
Right.
A lot of
I'm
people,
grateful, man.
A lot of people get to that level and don't give a fuck.
Yeah, that's
true. And the fact to see him like he's really rocking, like, nah, we doing this. shout out to people who keep
shout
it
out
real.
to Danny
Shout out Danny
Cortez.
Cortez all day.
Yeah, man. The way we did that record was everything to me. Like I said, in the neighborhood, knowing the history of him doing the rap and doing whatever he's doing right now, you know, with the art, and me doing this, like going back is like, to me, not to be biased because it's me, but as a little kid or even as a fan of the whole Bushwick, is one of the biggest records in Bushwick history, and that's what we aim for, because we was trying to make sure that we keep showing everybody that, yo, you could do this shit, bro. You could do this shit. You know what I'm saying? You don't hate on me while I'm rising, but you could do it too. You heard? But don't hate on me while I'm rising, but you could do it too. Just be original and don't copy. Be inspired, but don't copy, because that's the thing that people get twisted as we rising. You could be inspired, but don't copy.
Do you feel that anybody out there is currently copying?
You know what's the problem? People have identity issues, so they don't know who they are. You know what I'm saying? So that's when they follow waves and they follow trends, and then they be like, all right, I'm gonna do this because this is working. So now they part of that, you know, the sheeps, and going where whatever I have created, the So You Rises, Bushwicked, from the way I walk to the way I talk, everything is different. So if you smell like me a little bit, it's gonna be exposed that you just copying, and it's like, be inspired, bro. Be inspired. You should grow from me. You should take from me in a different way, but use you, because you have your story too. So tell your story. But everything else is Bushwicked. You heard? Bushwicked 3.
Shout out to all the Soy Risers too. You heard? That's everybody. That's part of the team.
Talk to me about your relationship with Fluff Jones, and your perspective on the industry, because Fluff Jones is definitely a person that's getting people into the industry. Yeah. But how do you feel about the industry? But let's start with Fluff Jones.
Fluff Jones, that's my brother, man. You know, that's my sandbox right there, Bushwick sandbox. He does his own thing, you know, with the music. I do my own thing. And, you know, we meet when we need to meet. And just like how all our energies are, you know what I'm saying? So whenever the time is right, we link up and we get, you know, to whatever we need to get to. That's my relationship with my brother, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, he does whatever he does. I do what I do. And when it's time to meet up, we meet up.
Yeah, so he's moving heavy.
So like, shout out, we on tour.
Like my man was saying,
shout out to we on tour.
Do you feel it's been embracing you, or has it been like a you know, you had to force your way in?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, in order, when you don't do the same thing at the same rhythm, at the same pace as everybody, at the same cadence, you know, there's drill era or left boom bop, or, you know, it's like, so now I'm coming through and I'm just like in the middle. I could hit him drill, I could hit him salsa, I could do bachata, not really, but you know what I'm saying, I could switch it up, you know what I'm saying? And so it took a lot for people to actually pay attention to me. I had to paint the wall, I had to paint another wall, I had to drop clothes, I had to have people marching with me. I'm marching down blocks with 8-foot banners, you know what I'm saying, like, watch me, look at me, listen to me, see me, feel me, show me, you know what I'm saying? I'm doing all that, so it took a lot. It took a lot, and it's going to continue to keep, you know, having to take more, because like certain, like, is different. I don't even, sometimes I'm going in right now, I'm going through to finish this third project, and I mean to start the third project, and it's like I don't even know where it's gonna go, because I know the energy is vibrant right now, but I don't even know where it's going right now, because, you know what I'm saying, is different, and I like it like that, because then if I, you know what I'm saying, if I know it, somebody else might know it. You know what I'm saying? I don't even want to know it. I go to the studio, I write in the studio. All my songs have been written in the studio. Everything's on the spot. Wow. Yeah, everything. I go in there, blank canvas, and I just and I take features. My features know. All y'all know how I give it up. Gage, Seek, everybody knows. I got a whole story with Gage. You know what I'm saying? How
shout out FOH.
So shout out to all my guys. That's fire. what I'm saying? I got a whole story on how these songs have transpired, you know what I'm saying? Because I go through and you know what I'm saying, I start listening to the beats, I start screaming out the Saw You Rises, and the energy starts getting in the room, and before you know it, the drums crazy, and
he make beats.
And I had my own beats. I had 2 of my own beats in this project. So I started producing it.
Congratulations, man. Congratulations, man. Yo, outside of yourself, can you tell me some other Bushwick artists that I should be paying attention to? Like anybody that you say, you know, these dudes is dope. These dudes is dope. Outside of yourself.
The Saw You Rises, man. Everybody that support the Saw You Rises, and you see me supporting them heavy, those are the ones that's up next right now out of the ground. You know, he who supports the Saw You Rises, all of those people right there, those are the ones that's gonna keep rising. You know what I'm saying? Because if you could see the whole idea, the whole foundation of the Saw You Rises was to embrace every artist. I proved that through like 5-6 events, you know what I'm saying, that I came through, and I brought no-name artists, people that didn't have, you know, no attention, no nothing. I brought them around, and I was like, look, I just came out of that big stage. I just opened up for KRS-One. I just opened up for Havoc from Mobb Deep, Legends. And I'm creating an event now for Yacobi scene. You know what I'm saying? So I did that. So whoever supporting the Saw You Rises, those are the ones that's next.
So you're working on this 3rd project.
Yeah, it's actually my 4th project.
4th project.
Yeah, it's because I dropped the Revelations, which was 2017, Bushwicked 1, 2021, Bushwicked 2, 2023, and now I'm going for Bushwicked 3, the fall before the rise.
No, that's an interesting name right there. What made you choose that name?
The fall before the rise, because I had to lose it all. I had to lose it all while like I say it in my songs, I was rising while I was bleeding. You know what I'm saying? I was really rising while I was bleeding. I was losing everything. I was like really losing everything. And I got a book coming out that I'm working on right now that, you know, I'll tell my whole story. You know what I'm saying? Detail for detail. I'm not going to spit it out, but be on the lookout. You know what I'm saying? Like I was rising while I was bleeding, like literally, like I lost everything. And so it was the fall before the rise. You know what I'm saying? I took a big fall before what's about to happen. And you know what I'm saying? Like I'm about to shock the world. You know what I'm saying? The impact will be felt, and it's being felt, and it's gonna continue to be felt.
We ain't stopping. We ain't stopping.
If you had an opportunity to sign with a label, would you choose it?
I'm in talks right now with certain people, and you know, at the end of the day, like if it makes sense, we were gonna continue to keep moving forward, and if it don't, then you know, everybody, thank you for the opportunity for even a conversation. You know what I'm saying? But if it don't make sense, it don't make sense. I'm an older artist. I've been putting in work. I know that at the end of the day, like everything was about making sure that my story and the foundation was actually, you know, crafted correctly from the foundation. Like everything had to be me, pure. When you felt me, and when, like I said, when you hear the words, you had to feel it. So it's like from that, I win already. Without a contract, I won already in life. I told my story. You know what I'm saying? The rest is history. So if any label comes through and is correct, I'm grateful.
Here's a question that may shake up the internet. Recently, and not like yesterday, but recently, an artist by the name of Tekashi 6ix9ine represented Brooklyn, represented Bushwick. How do you feel about the effect it had on Bushwick after he told?
You know, I'm in the ground of Bushwick. Like, I'm in the soil. So, like, I'm really currently out here. And I know the younger kids. I know the older kids. I know a lot of kids out here. So, it's like, at the end of the day, like, where we're seeing his songs, he was never representing Bushwick. He wasn't branding Bushwick. He wasn't speaking Bushwick. people tagged Bushwick to him after, you know, the issue. You know what I'm saying? So when like we can't knock the hustle. We all from, you know, from the ground of Brooklyn. You know, we can't knock the hustle. So at the beginning, whatever he was doing, whatever it was however it was, even if it was whatever it was, at the end of the day, I was respecting the hustle. But at the end, like whatever he does or whatever, I don't even acknowledge him. He's not even from here. You know what I'm saying? As far as the way he know, like his people know who I am, and they know they know I'm in the soil currently. So it's like I don't know who he is.
He don't make Bushwick, you know what I mean?
Yo, you know what's funny? I've heard people from Bushwick be like, nah, he's from Bed-Stuy. And then Bed-Stuy dudes be like, nah, he's from Bushwick.
I'm not even gonna do that. I know a lot of people that do that.
It's a battle. It's a battle.
Yeah, we don't.
And a lot of people stopped repping Bushwick because of that. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. But we didn't stop. We kept going.
Now,
like,
respectfully, he wasn't repping it. So it's like everybody put in a tag. Oh, you know, like he's from Bushwick. Because he said it here, he said it there, but he wasn't putting it out there. Yeah. People put that label on him. And then it's like a whole different side of Bushwick. That's not even, like, we man, like I said, I'm from Jefferson, Trotman, Star, George Street, you know what I'm saying, Hart. Those are my blocks, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to all sides, though, you know what I'm saying? Right. Shout out to all sides. Bushwick on all sides. Shout out to Dark Side. Shout out to the light side, but I'm from Knickerbocker, Plaka. You already know. Jefferson, Trotman shit, you know what I'm saying?
Facts. Yo, I like to, you know, when I end the shows, I like to go left. I like to go somewhere like somebody won't ask you this question. So I'm gonna say this. Who is somebody out there that you wouldn't want to work with? You wouldn't want to work with, not because that you dislike their sound, but you don't want to work with them because you feel your sound and their sound.
I think everybody's trash, bro. You heard? Fuck that. Respectfully, I think all of y'all niggas sound the same. I think all of y'all got the same cadence. I think y'all all saying the same shit everybody said, different beats. Like, that shit sound whack. Say it differently. Use a different word. Break the fucking word. Add a different word to that word. Change it up. Nigga, like, you know what I'm saying? So, honestly, if you want to tell, if I'm telling the truth, all y'all niggas is trash.
There it is.
Bushwicked, nigga, heavy, Xavr, the rise,
rises, man.
The fall before the rise, Bushwicked 3, you heard, dropping soon.
Yo,
fuck Tekashi 6ix9ine too, you heard?
That's a fact.
Fuck the snitches.
That's a fact. He locked up in the.
We don't do no snitches, man.
Yo, he's locked up in the Dominican Republic right now.
Outside of music, is there anything else that you want to accomplish?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing acting and basically like doing film, and I'm writing like, you know, like short stories and all of that. So eventually I want to do film and all that. Yeah. So
you really a writer?
Yeah, I'm really a writer.
Really a writer.
I told you my father is a known author in Puerto Rico, Arroyo, Puerto Rico. Domingo Gomez. You can find his book in Amazon. My Lost Childhood. So it's in my blood, bro. Like I can't. I never even been around this dude, you know what I'm saying? Like he lived his own life, and I lived my own life, and then it's like I connect with him, and he got like 15 books written, and I'm like, yo, nigga, I'm dropping projects over here. And I'm like, oh, so it's something that
in the DNA,
in the DNA, exactly,
basically.
In the DNA. Any shout outs you want to give? Anybody you want to acknowledge? Any situations you have coming up? Any events you're going to be at? Let the people know where can they find you at, or that dope information, real information.
Well, I want y'all to keep, you know what I'm saying, streaming Bushwicked 2 that I just released on June 7th. You know what I'm saying? We still rocking it through the winter. I got the video with me and Corner Boy, Bushwicked 2 coming out. I got the video with me and Certified Gauge, Wicked Moves. You know, we're gonna work on that. So I got all that coming out. I got the Bushwicked 3 project, like I said, the fall before the rise. I got a couple different pieces of merch. I got some sweatsuits. I got an event. We got an event before the year ends, or when the year starts. You know what I'm saying? I got a dope ass spot. You know what I'm saying? Nice capacity. Nice capacity in Bushwick, and so I got that going. What else we got going, bro?
We got a whole lot, man. We got a championship round 2 on there. Coming out.
Expo. Yeah, we're gonna definitely shoot that video too. So just a lot of visuals right now, and working on the event and working on the merch, and and shaking hands to without piss hands, cause a lot of these niggas out here want to shake hands with piss hands and be like, oh, I fuck with you, nigga, but you don't really fuck with me, and we gotta stop that. You know what I'm saying? As we move forward. You know what I'm saying? As we move forward in life, let it be all pure, because when it's pure, we all grow.
Oh, and shout out to SR2. He popped out for the video.
Shout out to the Graph Champs. Shout out to the Graph Champs. Heavy SR, that's my brother. He gave me, mad love from the start. You know what I'm saying? Soon it could be on the Graph Champ show too. We right here, we killing shit,
Facts.
Impact,
Facts.
Bushwick Impact.
Yo, shout out to my man SR, our new SR since 1990 probably. My DTF brother. Shout out to SR. He's doing his thing with Graph Champs. He's definitely going to be a guest on the Vandal Hour. I think I'm going to have him guest co-host. Me and him already spoke already. Definitely going to do some Vandal Hour, Graph Champs.
That's fire.
Collaboration.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, that's my brother since day one. Hopefully we might get Graph Champs to actually be here.
That would be nice.
We already he visited and we spoke. So don't be surprised if you see Graph Champs in the physical form here. That's the comrade, my man, him, Rav. Shout out to my MBK brothers.
Whole MBK, you heard?
Bushwick Low
Shout out to my big bro Crow, you heard?
Yeah, shout out to the brother Crow, man. Fact. We actually, if I'm not mistaken, that's one of the, when we was serious about the Vandal Hour, that was one of our last interviews. If I'm not mistaken, he's definitely been to many of our events. That's my bro. Shout out to Crows. Shout out to everyone who's been supporting the Vandal Hour for next month, make 9 years.
Shout out to D too, man. Don't forget about D, man.
Yeah.
Which D? Upstairs, D, man.
D Vargas.
D Vargas.
Yeah, we shout.
That's
D Vargas.
D Vargas was
Willie Styles. Let me say this. I see Willie every day.
Yeah. Well, Willie Styles is the producer that made Wicked Party. Like Wicked Party featuring featuring Wicked Party remix and the regular Wicked Party is all, you know what I'm saying, he's the main producer to those records.
Yeah, shout out to D. He's my Wansburg brother. Cooper Projects to be exact. I'm from Wansburg Projects. Don't get it twisted. Gage is from the south side, from my man's side over there.
Shout out to him.
That's the family. Shout out to everyone who supports the Vandal Hour. Shout out to all of our, I don't even want to say fans. Shout out to all of our supporters across the globe, especially Finland. Finland is showing us a lot of love. Shout out to Europe, Spain, everyone who supports the Vandal Hour. I'm not gonna lie to you, but we have a strong underground fucking following. Dudes don't play, man. It's a small clique, but that clique is tight, man. We're going to be having a lot of dope interviews coming up for season 9. Be on the lookout. I don't want to shout out no names, but I will say we will be having some crazy interviews. A lot of different things going on.
Yo, can I say something?
Mr. 13, where can they find you? Let them know about the sit down with Mr. 13, and let them know about Made for Kings again before we get out of here.
You can find me on madeforkings.com. That's my own site, and I really appreciate it if you go visit me on my own site so we can have that traffic. But if you want to check me out on social media, it's Made for Kings TV on all platforms. All right? Before we go, I just want to say rest in peace to Woody, a.k.a. Spazer. He would have been here with us today.
He was supposed to be the co-host
That
today.
man called me and was motivating me to do this again, so I want to give him a shout out. May he rest in peace.
Yo, shout out to my man Woody Wood. Rest in peace to him. This was all. A lot of this today was him encouraging me. You know, it was him pushing me to do it. He was supposed to do the clothing for it. He was supposed to work on the Vandal train map that we do every year. So many pieces of the puzzle he was stepping into. Yesterday was his wake at Ortiz Funeral Home. Thank you to everyone who came out to support our brother. Shout out to his family, friends, and everybody who's like really fucked up over this shit. But thank you for returning back to the Vandal Hour.
My pleasure, bro. My pleasure.
They ain't stopping us. Ain't nothing stopping us. This is not where we'll be at later. This is the beginning. We are building again. We are going to be bringing you some of the illest interviews from hip hop artists to Vandal writers to DJs to b-boys. Everything in this culture we will be covering. Don't play with us. Make sure you tap in with us on Instagram at the Vandal Hour. You could DM us. If you want to be on the Vandal Hour, let us know. Check out the old episodes on YouTube. We have DTF episodes and we have the S.STREET Media episodes. We want you to watch both. They are important to the culture. It's a history lesson on graph. And all you got to do is just hit play on YouTube. Is that simple, very simple. We are out of here. Thank you to everyone who's supporting us again. My name is Mathematics, and that is Mr. 13. We are the Vandal Hour. Shout out to Worldarama.
So you rises.
That's
So
a
he
fact.
rises.
Shout out to Worldarama, who sat in with us for the first half. Shout out to Xavr. You know what I mean? The Soil Rises. Make sure you pick up Bush Wicked 1, Bush Wicked 2.
It's on all platforms.
Make sure, what was the first one called? Revelations, man. I'm going to say this. I got to listen to that because that's one of my favorite books in the Bible. I'm not religious, no, but it's a deep story. And for something to be revealed, it's a deep thing, man. A lot of fakeness is sometimes revealed after the friendship. So, you know, I got to check that one out. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. We are officially out of here. Peace.
Fine.